So it started to intonate. Brian's been all over this. It said, as long as it stays below 310, right, on a weekly close, I have no edge for earnings. It did report, but into earnings, it did this little kind of, one drop into 210, rolled over, beautiful, 199, a little stabilization, and then earnings came out. And so after hours yesterday, it was in this kind of 199 area. And obviously they read a little bit closer, and this thing is, and it has obviously worked. And I think this is 100-day support. They do like to monetize puts here at this 21 week, but this is a perfect potential cradle. Cradle means where you get this explosion higher. Remember I said it could be this head and shoulders, and it will come all the way back down to 162. Remember how violent the ENPH sell-off was. This would be my swing short price target in time. I don't know what shenanigans they might have in monetizing, but you can see the daily 169.77. You can see the weekly 162.23. Right now, the prior low was 177.29. That's the gap up, right? So this is literally, it will fill. It's, you know how I feel about that, but it's got to have some people going, I want to take some profits, nervously take some profits. Microsoft, as you know, is also a honkin' big candle that is now hitting monthly resistance at 305.84. And I would not be shocked if they don't come in and sell calls massively against this. Again, tag your it, comes right back in. That 105.84, really, really, really do not expect that to close above 105.84 today. All right, they're right here on this, 1021, and then this is the 30. They didn't monetize. It's still like this cradle formation. Shot right below 100. Here is where it broke up, and here's the gap fill coming into play, 169.77. I have, again, no idea when they get into this how ferocious they're going to be in selling or monetizing, but clearly price target is 169.77 and then 162. I just don't know when. So I don't have any level here other than that 4157 coming up. Little overshoot. 416.290 would hit its head on the Bollinger Band. For SPX, we have panic buying at 41.65. Those are the calls that are ginormous. So that's what I'm going to basically surmise, right? We're going to pull this up to the 41.65 and then cool down. Those are the largest zero DTE positions. And I might also add that puts are coming in for Qs, for example. 3 million just came in for the 315 strike in June. So they're still coming in for protection because they don't trust this. But 41.65 SPX, that's the largest concentration of zero DTE calls. First, we tap 415.787. We get above that, we're hitting that 41.62. You mean here? Yeah, exactly. But we have to see the rollover. So yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. I showed that earlier. The problem is threefold. Number one, it's still bullish, right? We're still above the 10. And so far we held extremely well, right? That 40.62, nothing else to say about that. We hit that supply at 40.51.91, or otherwise known as 40.50, gapped above, go, right? That's support. So technically speaking, it's still bullish. It has not busted the trend. Trend's in play. That's all there's to say about that. Second, we don't have any volatility. Volatility's on the ground, and that's all there is to say about that. We have a potential of a 14.5 handle, since that did not follow through. As soon as that got rejected and came back down, it made this SVXY green again. Didn't stay inside this this area. So it's heading to 69.79. So we've got basically a trend that's still in play for SPY and Qs, and we've got VIX absolutely, left the building. And then we have what's going on right now underneath the surface, even though breadth I still think is a fake move higher. This particular kind of strength that we've got underneath the surface. Still seeing this as a bearish signal on the weekly. And then the third reason is cumulative volume. We're still bid. So we need to see if this 0 DTE extravaganza of 41.65 is going to materialize. Now they could also be selling the 40.65, that 41.65, but that's the largest concentration. I just see this as resistance with a Bollinger Band right above it. We'd have to get above that, which is basically this 41.63 area. That would be see how my line at 41.63, and I look on the daily. Oh, come on. Yeah, it's like literally at this Bollinger Band. We've got to get above that Bollinger Band to head up higher. What'd we hit? 41.59.06. Either way, that's the resistance, 41.57.87. Geez, Luis, that was, even though it didn't look very big in size, 0.32 is not a lot, but from the bottom up, that's a lot. And SBUX doing extremely well. Note that I had 113 was price target. Why? Measured move. This candle followed by a doji with a great open right here at this top of the doji where it closed. Perfect, absolute perfect. $5 here equals $5 here. We got it. 113 was the measured move for SBUX. It hit. Now it's still bullish, but that is resistance for now. That's at least measured move, I should say. It's still bullish. It's still moving higher. For what it's worth, and I still don't see any basing yet, but this is on the support where it started ticking higher, but I still don't see any volume coming in. I'm sorry, going out. I see it coming in. So as long as we have this pushing higher, potential right shoulder, SPX, potential right shoulder, but we won't really know until we come back down and break this. This is the trend line. That was the bank bailout. Moved sharply higher, had a 2-day pullback, 2-day digestion, moved higher again, started digesting, and then finally rolled over. But it wasn't until Thursday I started seeing the selling. So we had Thursday, Friday, Monday, tight range, and then a dump. And now we're right back up to where we started. 4157.87, and it's still intonating strength, I have 41.65 as the largest growing strike. 41.60, in other words, is moving up. Don't have a lot breaking down in Momo land. First Solar is quickly on its way to that gap fill of 169.77. So like gapping up above this 406.79, or yesterday, same thing, right? We get above, that's bullish, below is bearish. But a reasonable move would have been to the 8-day. This was not reasonable. And a follow through of this strength, again, with Apple and Microsoft making up 14% of the weighting, with Microsoft getting above a monthly without any hesitation, it usually kind of peters out a little bit. Gets above and then comes back in, then goes sideways, and then gets the energy to move higher, and then hits the next monthly and then comes back in, then gets the energy to move higher. It's really what you'd call artificially strong. So it's a little superhuman, just like Lilly has. Now, it doesn't mean they can't go higher, but usually what happens is they tag and then they kind of slide up or they pull back. And that's the thing you got to be careful about, is if it pulls back, here's your support. Now, 375. And that's a lot of weeks of green. 309 to basically 399 in this matter of weeks, expect some sideways, just a slowing down of Eli Lilly, seriously. So that's a great trend play, but I'm just saying it's coming into some resistance. So we're kind of sticking here with this 41, 57, 87, whatever that was, level of support, of resistance has clearly been sold. Market's quieting now. Really, no clue if we have buyer exhaustion because, and I say that, I'm talking about for the day, because I see this candle did exactly, right? It had a bounce, but it's still bearish engulfing. So it could go a little bit more. I said it wouldn't surprise me if it goes all the way halfway up this candle, but it is petering out. And then, of course, volume, we have not reversed yet. And just because it's overbought doesn't mean it's bearish. It has to literally reverse and come back down. And so far, we don't have that. So I can't say that the buyers are exhausted today, except I can definitely say that they have taken their, ill-gotten gains. They took their money and ran.